Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Me, 28 female, and my husband, 28 male, have been together for 9 years, married for 4 years. We have a baby girl together. About my husband's family. My husband was an only child until he was 10 years old. His aunt, mother's-in-law younger sister, and uncle died in a car accident. My mother-in-law and father-in-law adopted their nephew, my husband's cousin. Biologically, my husband and brother-in-law, 24 male, are cousins. Legally, they are brothers, until he started dating his now wife. I had a great relationship with him, but his wife, my sister-in-law, 32 female, never liked me. I don't know what's her problem with me, but she was always distant and condescending. We were cordial for family's sake and kept our distance. Other than that, I have wonderful relationship with my in-laws. There is something you guys need to know about my mother-in-law. She wanted a girl child, but ended up with 2 boys. My mother's-in-law older sister have 3 boys, so everyone in my husband's family are boys. When my daughter was born, my mother-in-law and her sister cried with happiness. She is the first and only granddaughter on both sides of our family. My brother-in-law really respects and loves my mother-in-law. When my sister-in-law got pregnant, she announced they are definitely going to have a girl child too, even though she is too early to know the gender of the baby. She was really disappointed when she found out they are going to have a boy. She promised my mother-in-law she is going to give her a granddaughter soon. My mother-in-law told her she is happy if both the baby and mom are happy and healthy. She doesn't care about the gender. Recently, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law found out they cannot have more kids. This Sunday, we gathered at my mother's-in-law elder sister house. My husband's cousin's girlfriend asked me if we will have more kids. I was honest and told her, I don't know. We probably won't because our lives are pretty busy with office and a toddler. My sister-in-law told me then we can raise our kids as siblings. I was confused and asked her what does that even mean. She replied, since neither of our kids might not have siblings, we can raise our kids together. She said we can meet every Saturday and Sunday so that the kids can spend some time together. When the kids grow, they will share their chores, snacks, toys at both our houses. They will be joining the same school and have same circle of friends. My sister-in-law wants to be my daughter confidant and secondary parent to my daughter, so that she will experience raising a daughter. And my husband can do the boy things with their son, so that he will have experience with raising a son. I was flabbergasted. I told her no, we are not going to do any of those things. My daughter and nephew are going to grow up like normal cousins. Sister-in-law was mad. She said I am deriving my daughter a sibling, and my husband a chance to parent a son. I was honestly pissed and told her if I feel like my husband wants to have a son and my daughter needs a sibling, then we will have another child or adopt one. She started screaming. I don't know what happened because we left pretty quickly. I talked to my husband's cousin. She told me sister-in-law was seething with anger and everyone is confused about my sister's-in-law behavior. I am cuddling my kid, and her comments about being my daughter's confidant and secondary parent is giving me a bad taste. So, Reddit, am I an asshole? What do you guys think my best plan of action would be? Not the asshole. Why would OP's husband parent her son? That is very creepy, especially since he has a father. I wonder what his actual father thinks about that statement made by her. OP should also keep her daughter far away from her. And now let's hear community's opinion. Not the asshole. I mean, same-age cousins do stuff together normally. That's like spending time with family. But being a secondary parent is where line needs to be drawn. Was your brother-in-law on his wife's side? They could adopt or use surrogacy if they really want another kid. Not the asshole at all. I wouldn't do anything different than you are currently doing, except not leaving your daughter unsupervised with sister-in-law. If sister-in-law so desperately wants a daughter, they should adopt. It sounds that there are underlying issues she needs to work through. Not your problem or responsibility. Update. Hello, people. Thank you so much for all the advice. 70% of the people told me to stay away from my sister-in-law, and 30% told me to be empathetic towards her struggle. Following your advice, we came to a conclusion. This Saturday, since my husband is working from home, me and my daughter went to my parents' house. We had a pool party. It was so fun. After the party, I was checking my phone. There were missed calls from my sister-in-law and husband. I called my husband and found out that my sister-in-law came to our house with my nephew for bonding time. My husband firmly told her not to come unannounced, and we already had other plans. There were messages from my brother-in-law to please meet at a cafe the next day. Me and my husband decided we will be meeting with only my brother-in-law. Next day, we met my brother-in-law. He apologized profusely for his wife's behavior. He had no idea about her plan. He promised us she will not be parenting our daughter. He explained the reason behind her behavior. My sister-in-law doesn't have a good relationship with her parents. Considering how well my mother-in-law treated her, she wanted to fulfill my mother's-in-law wishes about granddaughter, so she always hoped she could have a daughter. Me and my husband accepted his apology and laid out our boundaries. No more showing up unannounced. My sister-in-law is a stay-at-home mother. She used to drop her kid with me every week for a few hours to have alone time. We decided no more dropping their kid at our home. Kids will be meeting only at the monthly brunch at my in-laws' home. I don't want my daughter to go completely no contact with her cousin. My kid isn't going to their house. I also don't think it's right to ask a mother to drop the kid and get out of the house. So we will not be taking care of the nephew every week. We are going low contact with sister-in-law and no more talking about sharing the kids. She will not be alone with my daughter under any circumstance. I expect an apology from her. My brother-in-law was disappointed, but agreed with the conditions. He told us he doesn't even want to have any more kids because they cannot afford it. My husband, mother-in-law, and brother-in-law went to talk to her. Apparently, my husband was stern with her. He was furious about parenting our daughter and treating the kids like props. He isn't interested in doing father-son things with him. We will be the aunt and uncle that spoils him. That's it. She isn't going to be our daughter's confidant. She is never going to parent our kid. She actually lost all the privileges of an aunt. She isn't going to be alone with our daughter under any circumstances. My mother-in-law assured her she loves her grandchildren equally. My brother-in-law wanted her to go through an evaluation, but she firmly refused. She understands she crossed boundaries, and she respects our space, but she isn't going to a doctor. She was just dealing with the loss of not having any more kids. She apologized to my husband and mother-in-law. She texted me a few hours later and apologized. For now, we will stick to the rules. I feel like her apology is sincere, but I'm going to maintain the distance. I will be protecting my kid. I read each and every comment, so I will be answering a few questions. What's my husband and brother-in-law opinion on this? They are not okay with the arrangement, and shocked too. What's wrong with having a close relationship? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I love my nephew, but I am not going to raise them like siblings. I am happy if they have a close relationship, but I am not going to force them to act like siblings. I am not happy she decided everything about their lives. What about security? We have strong security and wonderful neighbors. I already informed them about the situation briefly. They told me they have my back. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law don't have keys. Neither does my in-laws. I am going to check the brakes and locks frequently. Also, in case something happens, my parents will be getting custody of my daughter. What about sister-in-law and nephew? I told my husband about PPD. He discussed with brother-in-law and mother-in-law. They tried talking to sister-in-law, but she is reluctant to go. My brother-in-law promised he is going to make sure she will start therapy. My nephew is happy and healthy. He is well taken care of. We will be checking upon him frequently. From now, we will be visiting my in-laws' house, confirming sister-in-law isn't going to be there. My daughter visits the park regularly, so she will not be deprived of meeting with people her age. We also decided my best friend's parents or my parents will be taking our kid in case of an emergency. My daughter loves my best friend's kids, 4 female, 7 female, so I guess there will be no problem. Anytime my mother-in-law misses her granddaughter, she is welcome in our house. My wife, 28 female, and I, 29 male, got married in 2016. She got divorced from her ex in 2014. She has 2 kids with her ex, 6-year-old twins, boy and girl. In the time we've been together, my wife and ex vacation together at least once a year in the summer. I've never been invited. As far as I know, they've always shared one big hotel room because it's cheaper. Supposedly, they split the kids in the beds. So I guess my wife sleeps in bed with my stepdaughter, and the ex-husband sleeps in bed with my stepson. I've never really loved this arrangement, but I have tried to be understanding. At this point, though, I think we've blended families to the point where these trips no longer need to be this separate thing. I brought it up to my wife that this summer, I would be more comfortable if I went with them. She was hesitant and starts talking about how the kids appreciate being able to vacation alone with both parents. But correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not a normal consequence of divorce? I'm starting to question whether she secretly misses her old life. I told her as much, and she acted hurt that I would question how much she loves me, us. But I can't help but wonder. For the record, I am not asking her to axe the vacations. What I envision is that we all go and get separate hotel rooms. I can't see what's wrong with that, but my wife seems happy with the status quo. Is this a hill most people would die on? So wait, what? The kids are 6. That means they were 2 when their parents divorced. It has most certainly nothing to do with going on vacation alone with both parents. They don't even remember their parents being together. This makes no damn sense. 53-year-old divorced dad with girlfriend with kids all around here. I've dealt with this. Absolutely not. You die on that hill. You go on that vacation or it doesn't happen. Or you get divorced. You two are married. Can't believe you let this go on. I wouldn't be shocked if she's cheating. Grow a pair. Are you freaking serious? Honestly, I can't believe I have to type this. No, it's not okay for your wife to vacation with another man annually. And it's even worse and confusing to the kids that it's their dad. What the duck is wrong with you? Grow a pair. All of my life, my father and mother have tried to control me. They have a very strict Catholic household, which I was subjected to until moving away to college. To give you an example, I, along with my 2 sisters and my brother, were not allowed to date. Curfew at 5, no parties, not too many friends. Every friend was basically interviewed, and all of my friends had to provide their parents' contact info. No using the phone unless my father was in the room. No makeup. No skirts or dresses shorter than knee length. No inappropriate panties or bras. No internet access, ever. No doors on our rooms and no curtains. Also, both of my parents were always just very suspicious in general, so they would always accuse us of something. Another example, though I know I shouldn't have lied. My junior year of high school, I snuck out of the house and went on a date with a boy whom I had a crush on for years. We kissed and he took me home. When I got home, my parents were waiting for me and my dad yelled at me for hours, slapped me, and demanded that I tell him what I did. He just knew I had probably had S with the boy and lost my virginity. After hours of horrible shouting and threats to throw me out, I confessed that I had kissed him. And my mom sobbed and said, "How could you do this to yourself?" And my father wouldn't talk to me for a few weeks. So yeah, there's other things, but there are some examples. I got out of that situation after I moved to college, though my parents still attempted to control me and refused to pay for college. So I had to get a few jobs and use my scholarship money and loans, which my father always promised me he will help me pay off, but then threatened not to if I do anything wrong. Though I could eventually pay them off. Of course, I would prefer help from my father to speed up the process. This is something that gives me a lot of anxiety. In my second year of college, I met my fiancé, George, and we fell in love. I had had secret boyfriends in the past, but my parents never found out. I decided to tell them about George because I knew they would find out eventually. My dad had a long talk with me and said he was disappointed that I had chosen to date so early in life, and he talked to me about what being a holy woman meant. He said that since he still paid for my insurance and cell phone bills, he would know if I ever got birth control, or saw a gyno. My father was strictly against going to the gyno. And he said he would be watching my cell phone records to see if I would be talking to George too late at night than was acceptable for a young woman. He said I was not to have S with George, and if I did, I would need to confess in the church immediately, and the Lord would tell him if I did, and that he would be very ashamed of me. I don't remember what else he said. I have my own successful job now after college, and George is studying to be an engineer right now, and he has a great job as well. I am now completely in control of my life, with my own cell phone and apartment and everything. Though every step of the way it has been a battle between me and my parents, who say that I have rebelled against them and deny their love and disrespect them. Your other siblings don't do this. They obey us, Rachel, but not you. You hurt us every day. Now that my fiancé and I are engaged, my father has been trying to hammer into me that I am still too young for S, that a proper, respectable, holy woman does not soil herself at a young age, does not get married until her father approves, on and on. I didn't get my father's approval for the marriage, therefore I have gone against him and God. He keeps saying over and over that if I go through with this awful arrangement, he will expect me to wait until I have permission from him at age 27-ish to have S, 26 if he sees fit. Even though I have dealt with these awful things for my father and mother, I still love them. I know that is crazy. I cannot help it. And I feel shame when they shame me, angry at myself sometimes when they point out my flaws. I have saved myself for marriage, but now I feel shame for wanting to have S, because women should not want to, according to my parents. They should only want it for the pleasure of their husbands, and should not owe because that is not the natural way. I know that I should not care what they think, but I feel so, tired, conditioned into wanting their love and acceptance. I still want to do as they say, despite what my heart really wants. And I am afraid that the Lord will not have me if I dishonor my parents. And also, the loans. That is part of it as well. When George and I get married, I want to start trying for babies. My father would not approve of me having a baby before I'm 30 or without his permission. I want to live my own life now, but I feel like I can't because I still love my parents so much and I want their acceptance. George has been amazing, putting up with all of this. And even though he believes in waiting until marriage, he said it is ridiculous to not have S once you are married, and says that it would be very difficult for him, which I understand completely. I keep going back to that one moment when my father demanded that I tell him what I did with that boy that one night. I just know that once I have S, I won't be able to help but feel ashamed, and won't be able to look my father in the eyes and lie to him if he asks if I have had S. Obviously, I need a lot of help. Any advice is welcome. Has anyone had experience in breaking off with controlling parents? Or how have you stopped feeling shame for doing what you want as opposed to what your parents want? I just want to live my own life, and even though I have the means to, psychologically I feel bound to my parents, and every day I still seek their approval. Just because I'm not religious, I actually link this to a friend of mine. He is looking to become a Catholic priest. He has studied for many years, and if anyone would have insight into your situation, it would be him. He thinks your parents are hateful, and are using guilt to control you for no good reason. He believes that there is nothing pious or righteous in how they treat you. Your relationship with your fiancé is between you and your fiancé, just as your relationship with God is between you and God. Your father does not have the authority to damn you, and nor should he be carrying on like he does. That's what a man who believes that he is answering God's call to the priesthood has to say about it. And I absolutely agree. OP, please hear these words. You are a living, feeling human. You alone have agency over your body, and it's not your parents' business what you do with your fiancé and soon husband. They you by telling you that you hurt them by forging your own path. You're a wonderful daughter by trying to please them. But people like that cannot be pleased. They aren't concerned for your feelings or happiness, only their control over you. None of what they demand of you helps you in any way. They are being immature and unreasonable. You are an adult. You get to decide from here what you want to do. It's not their life, it's yours. These people are bad for you, and it's clear from your post that they have only caused you anxiety and fear. Here is my advice. Cut them off. They do not care about you, and you deserve to be happy and to consummate your marriage on your own will. Your parents are and their attitude towards you is insane. You will be recovering from the stresses and anxiety they've given you for forever if you don't walk away. Background. My husband and I have been together for 4 years, married for one of those. I like to think that we have a good marriage. We are generally supportive of one another, and we are the annoying couple that is pretty much always together, attached at the hip. I don't feel like saying nice things about him right now, but I love him a lot. I have been overweight since I was a child. Not grossly overweight, but definitely a case of she could stand to lose a few pounds. I have always felt pretty bad about that, and a few months ago I started working out and eating better. So far, I lost 20 pounds, and I'm only 2 pounds away from being at a healthy weight for my height. Husband has always assured me that my weight wasn't a problem for him. I know that he is out of my league or whatever. He is tall, has blue eyes and dark hair. He's very handsome. I never cared much about looks and have dated people of all shapes and sizes, but I am reminded of how attractive he is all the time from the nasty looks and little comments I get from other women from time to time. I always thought it was pretty funny that I ended up with such a handsome man, and it never bothered me. Anyway, I'm rambling. Blame the beer. Husband has never had a lot of friends, but these last 3 months or so he has been hanging out with a couple of coworkers every Friday. I was incredibly happy for him. He was always in a great mood when he came home, and his friends seemed nice. He invited me to come along in the beginning, but I declined, because I think it's healthy for him to have his own friends. He stopped asking. Today, he is going to see a movie with these coworkers. He told me that one of them is bringing his wife, and that I was welcome to come along. This time, I thought it would be fun to go with him, since I would like to meet his friends, and someone else was bringing his wife along. I got dressed, and then my husband stopped me. He told me that he couldn't take me with him after all. He looked really upset and uncomfortable, so I pushed a little bit. Why did he suddenly change his mind? After a while, he told me that he had something embarrassing to tell me. Apparently, his new friends like to talk about hot women. They like to talk about how they scored and about how hot their girlfriends' wives are. In an attempt to fit in, husband told them that he had a smoking hot wife who always gets attention from strangers when they are out together. He says that it is now a running gag in his group of friends. He even showed them a picture of some chick from Facebook and said it was me. He told me that I couldn't come along because they would find out the truth. I immediately started crying and asking him why he would do something like that. He apologized profusely and said that he was just trying to fit in. He tried to make it up to me by inviting me along anyway, despite how embarrassing it would be. I have zero desire to meet these friends now. Husband was just standing there helplessly for a few minutes, and I asked him to please leave and that I'd be at my mom's when he got back. He started begging me to spend the night at home, but I am just so angry, humiliated, and sad, and I don't want to be around husband right now. I'm leaving in a few minutes to go to my mom's. How do I deal with this? Is this normal behavior? Am I overreacting? Wow, you are not overreacting. He is the one who lied to his friends. This is not normal behavior. Your husband needs to come clean to his friends because it's going to be weird if they all invite their wives and you cannot come every single time because he lied. They will eventually figure out the truth. That's your husband's problem, though. Your problem is you consider this acceptable behavior. Your husband owes you an apology and he needs to come clean to his friends at the minimum. Perhaps he needs professional help for his lying and insecurity. I don't like how you talk about yourself. Your husband is not out of your league. His personality makes you seem out of his league. You deserve better, OP. My husband tells people I'm hot because I am to him. Doesn't matter if his friends find me attractive. I'm not married to them. If my husband pretended somebody else was his wife, I would probably need space from him for a couple of days, and then it would take one amazing apology from him. It's completely devaluating to you as a person and to your relationship. I would never be able to meet his work friends. It would be too humiliating. And every time he hangs out with them, I would probably be cranky about it, which would ruin going out with them for him. My husband, Jerry, 31, and I, 27, are newlyweds. We just got back from our honeymoon, and his mom, mother-in-law who is a snoop in nature and who always wants to know about everything going on in her son's life, invited us to her house multiple times for dinner. She kept insisting Jerry tell her everything that happened on the honeymoon, every single detail. My husband kept giving her vague answers because we really didn't do much other than spend time together, but he admitted later that he could no longer handle the pressure from her. She invited us to a barbecue get-together a few days ago, and when everyone gathered to eat, mother-in-law asked again how the honeymoon was spent, and I looked at Jerry and saw how annoyed he is. I decided to handle the conversation and answer her question. I responded by saying that we didn't do much. We just had non-stop. I admitted how he was often on top, but never ceased to please me, and how I remember having him between my thighs most of the time. How I loved it. How he made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. How I was mostly the one who initiated and he never ever turned me off. Then I said it was bliss. Mother-in-law was stunned, like absolutely stunned. Then I added, I mean, we did go out a few times to look at places, but then we went back and had awkward silence for the whole family. Then brother-in-law goes, so, anything else to talk about? Mother-in-law blew up at me, calling me shameless and disrespectful for talking like this in front of her and family. She then said, the question was for my husband, not for me. And I told her that, since I was there, then I figured I'd help out, since he's a bit of a weak memory, and she wanted details. She, at this point, got up and got into an argument with me and told Jerry to take me out of there because I was no longer welcome. We left, and Jerry wasn't happy with how I handled it. Then, his two sisters berated me up and down for insulting their mom and embarrassing them by talking in an inappropriate manner at the party and ruining the atmosphere. They demanded I apologize, and Jerry says it's the only way, but I'm not sure at this point because I felt like I had to do this to get her to stop asking. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Most couples do that on honeymoon. Don't know why she's so surprised. Not the a-hole, but it wasn't a useful response. In a lot of situations, people will excuse the person who is actually in the wrong. By sinking to her level and just giving her what she asked for, you allowed them to paint you as the bad guy here, when you are not. It's sort of a Pyrrhic victory to be in the right, but they are all still going to act like you were in the wrong. A better response is just asking specific, pointed questions about why she is asking, in an emotionless a way as possible. Why are you asking for specific details of a couple's honeymoon? What sort of answers are you looking for here? It is making us uncomfortable. But just because there was a better strategy to have taken to get what you wanted, it doesn't mean you are at fault. So, not the a-hole.